go. Just give me a second. All right, just gather in here real quick because I'm not gonna do the full breakdown because it's already started happening. Can I also just say, Trump is about to speak in South Dakota. He's already speaking, but I always have to delay it a little bit before I start, so I'm not right on top of it in case I need to, when I pause stuff and start shit, and like stop and start it, that I always have to go through the process of, of letting it roll forward so that I can get around the music and all that shit. This, let me show, before we even get into this stuff, and welcome everybody. Don't forget to like, subscribe, support the show, blah, blah, blah. If you're watching this later, welcome to the channel. Welcome to Hello. If you're seeing this at a time, you're like, I don't normally watch this dude because he's not on at the times I'm on. I am now, so hi. I also have radio tomorrow, so I'm not going to do all of this thing because we all know what he's going to say. It's going to be the same shit. There might be moments worth seeing later on, but quite frankly, it's going to be the same blather. And at some point, I think Trump walks in. I'll show you. He either enters the place or she's talking about how his plane has landed and they all get up and start filming it and taking pictures and blah, blah, blah about the crowd. Like, don't let them lie about the crowd, whatever she's saying. What I want to share with you is the god-awful chat on RSBN that is part of the regular on this. Just have a glimpse of what some of the Judeo-Christian values that they're trying to show are in this particular instance. Oh, yeah, she introduces him. That's why they're all taking their phones out, because this is him walking out to the whatever. Yes, and wait till you see the tribunals. All true, do some research. This is straight QAnon. Everybody in this, there's big guy is Obama, Biden must die, like, Trump could walk away now and still be a total hero. I go for it. We will stand with Trump. Biden is a criminal pedo. Where are the oaths of office? Trolls cannot help themselves. Blah, 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 blah. Like, it's just gross. Like, it's kind of stunning considering who these people allege themselves to be. And still, $100 Rumble payments or whatever the shit that people are paying to RSBN to keep this gold hawking high school production value. No slight to high school productions. Production value shit network going. They're all holding up Trump 1 signs and Trump 2024 signs. Yeah, and then they're just playing fucking yes, you've seen this. It's just it's the same thing. And did I freeze? I'm back. I'm good. I'm all right. I haven't actually dropped frame, so it might be on your end. It might be the internet. And he's just standing there while the song's playing. Yeah, I'll just stand here and I gotta wait. And Lee Greenwood gives me the rights to use this song, but only if I stand here like a complete dickhead while it plays on the air. Oh, they're so excited in Rapid City, South Dakota, town of 14,000 people, of which a full 18% are at this gathering. This is the South Dakota Republican Party is paying Trump to come visit because he needs the money. Here we go.
Rapid City.
Hello, Rapid City. Yeah, you're right. Big empty floor. I mean, there's people here. It's and it's, I would argue, in a city of 14,000 people, half of these people or more are not from South Dakota, but that's another thing for another time.
Well, we have to start by saying hello, Rapid City.
Do you really?
Hello.
We have to start by saying hello, Rapid City. Hello. This is me saying what I said when we were trying to put together what I'm going to say before I wander off into my blather.
And thank you for that incredible South Dakota welcome. I have to tell you, you have to see outside. This place is packed.
Yes, everybody, yes. Even
outside, it's packed.
Yeah. All South Dakota is not packed. It's a state of 900,000 people. Less than 900,000.
I wish the press were legit.
I wish they'd show the outside, because then they wouldn't be showing the giant gaps. That's the stairs, but the gaps in it where there aren't people down here on the floor. Yeah.
Yeah, they turn around, they show this arena. This arena is incredible.
It's an incredible arena. It's the local hockey team gets the same crowd on a bi-gamely basis.
And you are incredible people. Incredible people. I'm thrilled to be back with thousands of hardworking, God-fearing patriots in the heartland of America.
Yes, definitely not the headland, but sure.
I want to thank one of the most successful...
Oh, don't show those seats. They're empty. Stop. Scan back. And also, don't show the fact that the floor is right here and there are no people down on the floor here, because you would be able to see them because that barrier is not that high.
Governors in the entire nation, an incredible person, South Dakota's own Kristi Noem. Thank you, Kristi. You already found this out, but Kristi is a warrior for American values. She's tough on China.
She's tough on China. All 900,000 people from her state are tough on China because they don't have a Walmart.
And unlike other governors, she never locked down South Dakota. You know, they all say, oh, I kept it open, I kept it open. They didn't keep it open.
Yeah, again, South Dakota's already open, dum-dum. It's that kind of a state. It's empty. You don't have to lock down a state where you can walk for hours and not see another person.
We had some good ones. I'll tell you what, McMaster, South Carolina was great, and we had some really good ones, but Kristi was just incredible.
Great. Fantastic job. Incredible, fantastic job. Yeah, the best words. He's pulling out all the best words tonight.
Look at your numbers. You gotta look at those numbers. She does well.
She does so well with the numbers about how small this state is and how everybody's there, and it's just amazing how people show up and
you know, when you say per capita, there's many per capitas. It's like per capita relative to what?
Right.
10%. What state's gone up 10%? Tell me another one. Kristi, I'm truly honored to receive your endorsement.
Up 10% in what? Asshat, again, at one point, Schaumburg, fastest growing city in America. Because when your city only has 4 people and 4 more people move in, 100% growth.
Very much so. I appreciate it. Thank you, Kristi.
Looking a little ragged in the hair department tonight. I don't know, maybe they put a blur filter on it. AI does wonders.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor. I get endorsements, some good, some bad. I get endorsements.
What's a bad endorsement? What the fuck are you talking about?
Endorsements, some don't mean anything. Hers means a lot, let me tell you.
Yeah, because she brings almost 112,000 votes to my campaign. That means a lot at this point. It's a huge percentage of the votes that I'm going to get next time, actually. A scary large sum.
Everyone here tonight is part of the greatest political movement in the history of our country. This is
Yes, it's a bowel movement. It's a
greatest movement. Look at this. This place is packed. We come to South Dakota. I said
yeah, and there's so much else so many other options for entertainment, things to do for free on a Friday night in Rapid City. All the, do we look it up? What's the other, what are they missing out on? Is the local high school game dry tonight?
How many people do you normally have at your Republican Party
Yes, how many people do you normally have?
dinners and events? Oh, a couple of hundred. This is like 6,000, 7,000 people. This is a lot.
Or it's like 2,000. Look at the floor. Look at the floor. Like starting here, fucking nobody all the way back to the center. They're just making everybody sit up in the rafters and trying to keep the camera up. Look at that. Who the fuck? That's obviously not a voter. What is she, 9? Also, you can tell, by the way, there's the people standing over here, standing, in front of the seats. So you can see that the floor height, as far as it's like a the hockey barrier without the glass up, that the floor's right there. So everywhere you saw, where you saw the wall in front of the people sitting, there's fucking nobody on the floor.
Your chairman is great. We'll talk
Look at that. Just fucking nobody.
about him in a second. He's done a fantastic job, but this
They made them all sit in the bleachers away from the floor.
broke your all-time record, and maybe we'll break it again next year. We'll have to do that, maybe we'll break it. We're the only ones that can do it. But we're racing toward a monumental victory 1 year from now. This is so important, isn't it?
It's so monumental.
Never been anything like this one. This is, when we did 2016, I said this is the most important, and I meant it. But this is the most important election we've ever had, because
obviously 2020 wasn't. This wasn't important. There wasn't really anything important to it, Obviously, I said 2016. That was right because I won. And 2020, I knew I was going to lose because they were telling me. I was like, I can't call it the most important one because I'm going to lose. All the internal polling's telling me I'm going to lose. So I've got to say next one, because without this one, I go to fucking jail.
the country's going to hell. It's going to hell. Together, we're going to defeat crooked Joe Biden, the most crooked president in history, the most incompetent president in history.
Yeah, he's so incompetent at being crooked that he's actually a good man doing good work. Because I guess that if you weren't a incompetent, if you were a competent crook, you'd be doing the criming. But an incompetent crook isn't crooked at all because they fuck up trying to be crooked. By the way, welcome, trolls. Glad you could be with us. Take your shoes off. Try to keep your racial epithets and your bigoted language to a minimum so nobody gets kicked out, and you really help us out in the algorithm. You watching us is a blessing. You spread us through the internet in ways you're not even aware through the algorithm. And I want to remind you that time is something you can never give back. The rest of us give it willingly, and you just hand it off to whoever, and it's adorable. And we appreciate it.
We're going to take back the White House, and we're going to make America great again.
Look at his face. Look at his face. He's already seen the internal polling. He's already seen that he's only got half of his own party. He won the party by 96% last time. Now he's got 56%, nothing to sneeze at against the other folks. But he's already been president once, and he's at half. He's got less support in the Republican Party than he had in 2016.
So 3 years ago,
Empty floor. See what I mean? See the height of these people right here? So starting at this point where it just gets to be black, there's fucking nobody. I don't know why they're making everybody sit up there except to make it look more packed to him.
traveled to South Dakota to deliver a very historic.
You know what it probably was? It's probably a donor thing, and you could get in free. You could sit in the side stands, but if you were a donor, you could be on the floor, and they just frankly don't have enough donors, or they don't have people who are willing to pay for it to be down on the floor. And so you've only got like the front row Joes and the people who come by and do all this shit. They go to every single one. They're not even South Dakota voters. They're just showing up at this. Yeah. And so they can only get about an eighth of the room.
Historic address It turned out people love that speech. They always say, oh, that was the best one. You know what? I think that beautiful facade. Is there a better place in the world to make a speech, Kristi? I don't think so.
I don't know. So you're saying you don't want to be here right now in a school gymnasium? Is that what we're supposed to gather? That you would rather she wouldn't open up Rushmore for you so you could give the speech there? It's a fee you have to pay or something like that?
Even though you do have the lunatics that would like to chop it up and knock it down, that's not happening.
You're right, it isn't happening.
Wouldn't want to be them. Come to South Dakota. Let's do a little number that is an incredible place. And
I wouldn't like to be them coming to South Dakota with what? A pickaxe? They're going to crawl up and try to hit, what are they going to do? Rappel down Jefferson's nose and take a chip out of it? What are you talking about? It's a national park.
It's some of the most beautiful pictures I've ever had taken of my family and all of us together. We had a tremendous crowd, and
That's what really, I think all of us, when we think of the times our families have gotten together, we really focus on the, like the crowd we had. Yeah.
Incredible. Then we opened it up for the fireworks, remember? And for a few years you had the fireworks. And
right, in spite of the fire damage possibility and all that kind of stuff.
Then the Democrats closed it down for the fireworks. I said, why would they do that?
Because of fire?
Well,
let's have him imitate. Tell us why.
How beautiful was that? But think of it, and they closed it down. They were worried about fire, but I said it's all stone and rock. It's hard for rock.
Hey, asshat. Have you seen? If you take just defocus your eyes off the faces of the guys and recognize that everything around it is fucking woods, including where the people live and where the tourists who come to Mount Rushmore actually stop and fucking eat. An asshole.
To catch on fire. No, they just didn't want to do it, but Mount Rushmore is a very, very special place, incredible place.
Yes, which is why we don't want all the buildings surrounding it to catch fire if a wildfire whips through the area because you wanted to see big sparkles in the sky.
Stood before you at this majestic period of time and
That's not what it says. It does not. That's not what it says. It's a majestic what? Place?
But Mount Rushmore is a very, very special place, incredible place. I stood before you at this majestic period of time and a majestic monument itself and fiercely defended our great American heroes from the Marxist and communist maniacs who were trying to blast them. They would have blasted that incredible work right off the face of that.
They were going to get rid of it. If I had been president, they would have gotten rid of it years ago.
Very beautiful mountain, yet today under
it's not a mountain anymore. It's a giant monument. It's a carving. It's not a naturally occurring sculpture. You do realize that, right?
Joe Biden, the Marxist, fascists, and communists are not just tearing down statues. They're tearing down our economy. They're dismantling.
They're tearing down our economy, which is why the dollar is worth more than it was when you left office. And the stock market is up, and unemployment is down. And the Fed is raising interest rates because the economy is too resilient.
Our borders, they're destroying our laws.
Which laws would that be? It certainly wouldn't be the law against retaining classified documents when you're not legally allowed to have them.
Eluding our middle class, mutilating our children. They're mutilating our children.
Are they? With a shrimp fork, or how are they? They're mutilating the children, are they?
Who would imagine?
Even having to say that, who could imagine even giving a shit about children in that regard? Republicans, now we have to pretend to give a shit about children. Democrats just want to mutilate children after they're done providing them with school lunches and Head Start, postnatal care for the mothers and all that kind of stuff. They're only doing that so they have some kids that they can mutilate.
Who would imagine that somebody would say that, and it's true?
Well, I would argue those two statements are at cross purposes.
Desecrating our Constitution and perverting our...
Perverting? That hurts. How do you even say that? Perverting? Say perverting again.
Who would imagine that somebody would say that, and it's true?
That's
Desecrating our Constitution and perverting our...
Perverting? That was a face fart. There's no question there. Perverting?
Our military is becoming woke. We defeated ISIS, and now it's becoming woke.
Oh, we did? We did? Did you? Were you wearing a flak vest, and did you have like black paint under your eyes? And is that what you had the Rambo body for when you were perverting?
Our White House is just a place that's not recognizable. And
yeah, they painted it green. It's amazing. They green screened the whole place. Now people can project whatever they want onto it. The White House isn't even white anymore. There's like black people in it. It's terrible. It's a terrible thing. The world's coming to it's reminding me of times when Jimmy Carter was there or something. The White House doesn't even look white anymore. What?
Our military is becoming woke. We defeated ISIS, and now it's becoming woke. Our White House is just a place that's not recognizable, and our highly weaponized Department of Injustice.
Also, what the fuck does that mean?
It's weaponized like never before. Nobody's ever seen anything like this.
Nobody's seen this kind of weaponizing. I tried to get Bill Barr to do it, and he wouldn't do it. I don't know what the fuck. I tried to make him do it, and he wouldn't do it.
Crooked Joe, I took the word out. I was Crooked Hillary, but now I've...
You were Crooked Hillary? Wait a minute. QAnon people, fill in. Get in here quick. It turns out you were right. Somebody was wearing a Hillary mask, and it was Donald Trump the whole time, the owner of the haunted amusement park. You were
Department
who?
of Injustice. It's weaponized like never before. Nobody's ever seen anything like this. Under Crooked Joe, I took the word out. I was Crooked Hillary, but now...
You were Crooked Hillary. I knew it. I fucking knew it. That explains a lot. I didn't realize. I was like, Hillary Clinton would never engage in this kind of shenanigans that they're accusing her of. Well, now ruh-roh. Yeah, get shaggy. This explains so much. Magoo.
Now I've given her a different name because I don't like having the same name for it. We have enough.
Great. It's a great story, bro. We're all excited about how you decide to reuse an adjective. Nobody gives a shit.
We have enough words. We don't have to do so. I call her beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful Hillary. Beautiful. She's beautiful. That was a good day a few months ago, but
Yeah, it was. I had a good day a few months ago when I decided to move Crooked from Hillary to Joe because I can't pronounce a lot of other words, and
when he did the indictment thing, it was him.
The indictment thing.
This is not an indictment. This is a Biden indictment. There's a big. They say Trump's under indictment. No. This is a campaign thing that they're doing.
It's a campaign thing.
But under Crooked Joe, I just thought it was such an appropriate name. All you have to do is take a little look at what's going on. Millions and millions of dollars have
Jealous much?
been stolen.
Have been stolen? From where? Stolen from where? This is good. Where is this on the crap top?
But our country is being destroyed under
No. You can't just move on to the country's being destroyed part again. What millions of dollars have been stolen? What are you talking about? Stolen with 2 L's? Like the rigged and stolen election? Where?
this man.
Man.
But tonight I repeat to you what I said 3 years ago in the
Because you're repetitive and you don't have any new ideas or anything new to say, and oh God.
shadow of Mount Rushmore.
In the shadow of Mount Rushmore, miles away. And of course, it's at night, so everything's technically under a shadow of something.
The American people are strong, and we are proud, and we will not allow our country and all of its values, its incredible history and culture to be taken from us. They're trying to take it from us.
They're trying to take it, and they're taking it. They're that taking it over to overseas. They're trying to sell it to China.
See it every day.
Do you?
You see what's going on with
What's going on?
your vote in this election. Joe
With your vote?
Biden's banana republic. We have turned into a banana republic. We have no borders. We have dishonest elections.
Didn't you build a wall? Wasn't it supposed to solve this? You finished the wall. So I guess the wall was ass, or because the border was worse after the wall was built. Maybe they just took you at your word. Maybe the reason the border was such shit after you left office was because we were like, well, he said the wall would do it. He built the wall. It was done. I guess we're fine now. I guess we don't need to cover the border anymore. Or just people aren't going to cross because he's got this amazing, beautiful slat fence.
We have things going on today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who wants to have millions of people like an invasion pouring into our country? We have no idea where they come from. They come from jails and they come from
insane asylums, and yeah, they're all crazy. Yeah, especially the toddlers, I guess.
Places that you don't want to know about.
Yes, I do. Tell me. I want to know about them. I want you to explain exactly. I want you to be specific, if you can.
And they're all over our cities and they're all over our states. But with your vote in this election, Joe Biden's country, for a short period of time, hopefully just a short period of time, it ends on November 5th, 2024.
Joe Biden's country? So everyone around you is, right now, as you say it, living in Joe Biden's country. So you think the president owns the country when they're president. This explains a lot.
We have to take care. We have to take our country back. We have to take our country back.
We have to take our country back to when tens of thousands of people were dying, and I was telling you that Xi Jinping's a total professional.
America will be saved, and the great nation of Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln, and Roosevelt. They don't want to mention those names, you know.
Why not? What are you talking about? Asshole, Roosevelt's like the cause celeb of liberals. They talk about him all the time.
It'll be restored. We will restore our nation.
Yes, we'll all go back to flintlocks and coonskin hats and buckskins and eating whorehound candy and using gingham.
It's never been this low. It's never been this low.
It's never been this low. It's never been this low. You do realize that your last year as president, tens of thousands of Americans were dying. We were all hiding in our homes to try not catch a contagious disease that was killing a bunch of people. And more people lost their businesses in that year than during the 2008 crash. That's pretty low. You do realize we're up from then, both in oil production, gas production, jobs, the dollar, the Dow, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ. They're all up from then. Unemployment, I guess, maybe that's what he's talking about. Unemployment has never been this low, which is not true. It was this low 60 years ago, but it hasn't been this low since.
If you took the 5 worst presidents in the history of the United States and added
And squoze them together, they would be Donald Trump.
them up, they would not have done near the destruction to our country as Joe Biden and the Biden.
Well, of course not, because he's not doing any destruction. Therefore, they would not do that destruction, which is not being done. I get you. Okay, good.
Biden administration have done in a few short years. Nobody can imagine.
Yeah, we got Hoover towns all over the place. We've got the stock market cratered. People like cancers through the roof. They've called off, I don't know what the fuck, medicine.
Nobody can imagine.
Nobody can imagine. You're going to have to imagine it because it's not materially true.
And no damage has been worse than the disaster known as Bidenomics. You know, he was given that term as a negative.
Right, and he's turning it into a positive, and that's pissing you off.
He liked the way it sounded, so he tried to turn it because they're all about disinformation and misinformation.
What are you talking about? He's just turning your little stupid nickname on its ear. What do you mean disinformation and misinformation?
You know, one thing with Kristi, she tells it like it is.
That's right. She comes up here. She comes up here and says, my state puts, for every dollar it puts into the federal tax coffers, it gets $1.21 back. So we live off the tit of the blue states, and we've got a military base here that guarantees a certain number of jobs, and our capital city has fewer people in it than suburbs of Louisville, Kentucky. And our entire state has a fifth the population of Minnesota, and yet we have 2 senators. Like everybody else, instead of joining with North Dakota and kind of evening things out a little bit, we got way more influence than we deserve. You know what? And she tells it like it is. She's like, you know what? I'm going to move that we get rid of our senators because there's not enough people here in South Dakota that don't. We'll just leech on North Dakotas and call it a fucking day. That's the kind of leader she is.
There's no disinformation. Sometimes you may be better off doing it that way. It's easier, isn't it, than having to really produce. But there are
you're oversharing.
Party of disinformation, and so he tried to turn Bidenomics into a good thing. It's not a good thing. It's a real bad thing. It was meant very bad, but he liked the sound of the name. You know, he doesn't know too much about what's going on anymore, but he thought it was good. Since Joe Biden took office, cumulative...
Yes, by the way, he's a criminal mastermind who's also a doddering old fool who's being used by people left over from Obama. So it's some sort of like autistic super genius or something. We'll figure it out one day.
Inflation has reached almost 20%. Think of that. Think of it. Over a 2.5-year period, now we're getting up. Can you imagine just a little more than a year, and we can rid ourselves of what's happened to this country? We can bring our country back.
No, you are not going to. You're not going to solve inflation, by the way, by cutting interest rates back down to below zero, which was your plan for that caused you were needing to facilitate the covering of the debt that you accumulated and to stave off the recession that you had triggered with your unpaid for tax cut. Mm-hmm.
And the dollar has lost more than 20% of its value in just 3 years' time. Think of it. It's not.
One moment, please. Let's see, December 22nd. By the way, all during Trump, this is what you call the COVID dynamic. That during the time that everybody else was going through something, this is what he's using to create that fallacy. Hold on one second. Is this guy? Hold on one second. There you go. Up to you guys. There you go. Here's the U.S. dollar, by the way. Is, and this is just against the euro. So let me see if I can find just I just want to see the dollar value. Here you go. This'll sum it up for you. The dollar is king again. Here's why. Dear God, it's as if Joe Biden is crashing the dollar on purpose. The U.S. dollar is enjoying its longest winning streak in nearly 9 years. The greenback was heading for its 8th straight week of gains against a basket of other major currencies on Friday, its best run since winter of 2014-2015. I don't remember who was president then, but it wasn't Donald Trump. It's gained 5% since mid-July. The rally comes after months of volatility fueled by concerns that the dollar may be losing its status as the world's reserve currency. Speculation about a potential de-dollarization of global trade rose again last month after the Chinese-led expansion of BRICS. Blah, blah. Rumors of the U.S. dollar's demise continue to be greatly exaggerated. James Athey, investment director at AB Aberdeen, an asset manager. The U.S. dollar index, which now stands at its highest level in 6 months, has been buoyed by a slew of positive economic data from the United States in recent weeks, fueling expectations that the Federal Reserve will keep interest rates higher for longer. Higher interest interest rates tend to boost. Again, by the way, if the dollar is worth, if there's too many dollars in circulation, why is it worth more? That's the easiest thing. This is, this boils down to, and I do think we have some maggots in the chat who will have to kind of, try to work their way around this. Go look it up, guys. Go, maggots. We'll be here when you come back. Go look at the dollar, and that the highest point it had was during the crash of COVID, because we were doing better than other nations by comparison. So people were dumping their money they needed physical dollars, and you couldn't get them because literally they couldn't be delivered because it was a supply chain issue. So the dollar went up in that regard and stayed up, but it's been flowing along pretty well. But it is literally the longest winning streak it's had in 9 years. Since, by the way, since Obama, Biden were in office. Weird, isn't it? That they, and that was well into the second term, where they actually had implemented a bunch of policies that were going in this direction.
Not even.
Sorry, go ahead.
Possible. Never happened before. These are records we're talking about. All records, all very negative records. Joe Biden
These are all negative records. No, it's actually a positive record. I don't know where he gets his numbers from, other than the fact that I think what they did was during that speculation point, which was all propaganda last year, all about the BRICS currencies. It was just a bullshit. It was like, it had a lot to do with like a giant push by these countries to shed dollars while talking shit about it. But they all, because all their currencies are fucked, they had to buy them back immediately after they talked shit about them. And they other people who are like, I think you're full of shit, bought those dollars up, and it made them even more expensive, because that's how stupid Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, and the other BRICS leaders are.
Blown through $11.5 trillion in wasteful spending that should have never happened, equivalent
right on the infrastructure, yeah,
to $88,000 taken away from every family in America. $88,000 from every family.
Well, you have to leave out the people who died during COVID while you were president and before the vaccines showed up, which you told your people not to take.
Under Biden, the budget
after saying they should for the whole time leading up to it, and yeah,
deficit
Thanks
is
for the $10.
exploding and set to more than double this year alone. You know, we were doing something with oil and energy and making a lot of money. We were going to make so much money. We were going to pay.
Guys, we were so going to make money. We were so going to make, so everything was going to be great. And then I told everybody that Xi Jinping was a total professional and the smartest guy ever. And then right when he sends over this fucking bullshit trade deal that I thought was my idea.
Pay off our debt. We're going to lower taxes still further. Manufacturing.
Were you? Where's that bill? Right there with your healthcare plan. It's 2 weeks away.
Is contracted now 10 months in a row, and monthly job reports have been revised downward every single month of 2023. Every single month they've gone down. The fact is,
no, they haven't gone down. They revised against expectations. They do that all the time. It happened all during his presidency as well. They set him up. They go, this is what we're expecting. This is what we got. Oh, we might have gotten a few. We'll check those numbers. Sometimes they're a little higher. Sometimes they're a little lower. But the point is, they've been growing ever since. There are too many job openings. Even the people in South Dakota know that there are too many job openings. The problem is not that people are unemployed for any other reason than they choose to be.
We're probably heading into a Great Depression, something I've never said before publicly.
First of all, yes, you have. Second of all, no, we fucking well aren't.
I'm saying it in your state. I hate to say that this is the state I have to say it, but I don't
What?
believe I've ever said that before. It's a hell of a statement to make, and I hate to make it.
No, you don't, because it's a cartoon.
The only question is whether or not it'll be during the remaining months of the Biden administration. If it's going to happen, let it happen then. If it's going to happen, let it be during Joe, and we'll come in and we'll straighten this sucker out. I'd rather have it that way.
Yes, that's Donald John Trump running for the Republican presidency, wishing a Great Depression on people as soon as possible.
Or will the next president have to bear the brunt of what Biden has done to our country? He's done such damage to our country. And I don't want to be the next Herbert Hoover. You know who Herbert Hoover was, right?
Yeah, tell us. They put it in the teleprompter for you, but tell us about Hoover, Hoovervilles and all that kind of stuff, and then start, I don't know, telling a Dr. Seuss story.
Great Depression. He was the president during the beginning of the Great Depression. But I won't let that happen. I will never let that happen. That I can tell.
Yeah, I'm sure he thought the same thing.
During Biden's first 30 months in office, just 2.1 million new jobs have been created nationwide. Now, they have a different wrinkle on it. And the wrinkle is so off that even the fake news back there said that he can't get away with that.
The only news covering this is local Rapid City News, RSBN, and RAV. When he points and says the fake news, he's literally talking about the only networks that run his I don't even call them rallies anymore, this blather, that run this blather live. They're friends of his. They're full-on supporters. And he just points at them and says, those fuckers. And these people laugh about it, even though full well they know that even the camera that's up on the riser with the other cameras that's like, it looks like a pool reporter's camera, probably from the local station. Right next to it is one of his campaign cameras. More of the cameras that are in that space are his campaign cameras than our press.
No, he makes up these stories, like there's a picture of a fighter jet. I used to be a fighter jet pilot. Then there's a picture of a truck. I used to drive a truck. And then there's a picture. He does everything. This guy. The worst is, did you ever see his golf swing? He said he's a 6 handicap.
This is the standard for Donald Trump. Yeah, and the interesting thing is, this is the only reason he's bringing this up is because that video of him slicing like an asshole is all over the internet. So he's super sensitive about his golf game right now. Also, for the record, Biden never said he was a fighter jet pilot. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
6 handicap's a good golfer. When he's 6 handicaps, that's a good golfer. This guy can't hit a ball.
Hey, asshat, you're in South Dakota. These people shoot skeet. They go fishing, they ride ATVs, they go to country music festivals, and the ones that golf are the politicians that arrived with you. A rich asshole from New York City bitching about golf to a bunch of people in South Dakota. Honest to God, if these people weren't already ball garglers for the MAGA crowd, they would have booed him off the fucking stage. These people actually do things. Bless their hearts.
Ball to Kristi. He's a 6 handicap. I think that's the greatest lie of all. Do you want to know the truth? By contrast, during the first
no one gives a shit.
30 months of President Trump, we created 4.9 million new jobs, shattering all...
And lost all of them.
All predictions and projections. Nobody's ever seen anything like that.
Shattering all predictions and projections because they set the bar low. Jimmy Carter created more jobs than Donald Trump in their single terms. Both single-term presidents, Jimmy Carter created more jobs. Knock yourself up. Up? Ooh, that... Yeah, go fuck yourself. Knock yourself out. Go look it up.
It's the greatest economy in history.
Yeah, except for that whole thing where you were trying to sign that you were in a tariff war with China and you were fucking the farmers, so they gave you a bunch of money to pay them off so that you'd still get their votes afterwards because China would rather have you as president.
Under Biden, real incomes have gone down by $7,400 per family.
By the way, this is the same trick that they used on the Obama administration coming out of the 2000, entering in right as the 2008 crash was happening before, and it going into place before they could get any legislation out to start dealing with it when they were a brand new presidency. More people went on food stamps during the Obama administration than at any time in history. Yes, because of the crash that occurred when they were there. They salvaged it, though. And that's the issue that they have, is that the value of the dollar in 2014, 2015, which is the consistent higher mark besides the 2020 spike when people were like, foreigners were buying a shit ton of dollars because BRICS was fucking around. That in and of itself, as a value point, you could tell. Just look at the fucking chart. That means they recovered. There was no guarantee that the Obama administration would be able to salvage the economy, and yet they did. Also, there would be no Tesla if not for the Obama administration, for the record.
That under President Trump, yearly income went up by more than $6,000. That's a record, more than $6,000. Think of that.
Until.
And all of this hard.
You don't, by the way, you could argue that for the most part, COVID started rearing its ugly head in the fall and winter before, in China, in the fall and winter before 2019. Hence the name COVID-19. That's 19. That's where it got its name, because it showed up in 2019. It was not COVID 2020. It's not COVID 20. It was COVID-19. And this would be about the same window. So Trump wants to say that all of Biden's successes that are happening right now are the result of him riding on the fumes of the past presidency. If that's the case, then all the wins of Donald Trump in his presidency was him riding on the fumes of the Obama administration, and his policies didn't show up until the collapse that happened around COVID. Essentially, COVID was the only time he was president, according to him.
All right, yet Joe Biden is traveling around the country pretending he's an economic genius. In fact, he's actually an economic arsonist, and Bidenomics is incinerating American.
Bidenomics. Did they dash you? Read that again. That's fascinating. Hold on. And what's it called?
He's an economic genius. In fact, he's actually an economic arsonist, and Bidenomics is incinerating.
Bidenomics?
American wealth at a level never seen before. It's an inferno of inflation, taxation, submission, and failure. We submit.
We submit? That's naughty.
It says, what is submission? You're submitting to China. You're submitting to all these countries. We're pouring money out of our country. We can't take care of our own country. We can't help Hawaii, but we send billions.
What do you mean we can't help Hawaii? We are helping Hawaii. The fuck are you talking about?
And billions of dollars to other countries.
Right, and we spend trillions of dollars here. I mean, you can't bitch about the deficit and how much we're spending as a government without recognizing that if you're going to go, we've sent $144 billion to Ukraine. Really? And we have a $2 trillion deficit? That's the argument you're going to make? Where the fuck is the rest of that money being spent? Here.
The choice.
Boo! These are people who are, by the way, this is a fuck Ukraine moment.
The choice in this election is between a Biden economic bust, and it's going to happen, and it's going.
Yeah, just hang on there. It hasn't happened yet. I recognize unemployment's great. The dollar's doing good. The market is up. There's all kinds of businesses are expanding, but you just wait. It's by the time I get in office, like a year after I get into office, you watch, the Biden depression will arrive.
It's going to be ugly, or a Trump economic boom. We had it booming like never.
So booming, we were booming
before. This was the most successful economy in world history. We had the most successful. Everybody.
By the way, no, he didn't. This is like saying your kid is the tallest he's ever been while he's still growing. That's the direction it's going in general. Like, I've even shown the chart where you look at US GDP. Let me show you. Let me show you US GDP for all this Trump bullshit. And remember, Republicans are big on telling you that the president does not create jobs. That has fuck all to do with the government. Private industry and individuals create jobs until Trump gets in which case he's like fucking magic beans or some shit. But let me show. Let's see chart. I need a chart. Let's see. 2023. Let me go to this guy. Yeah, here it is. Real GDP by quarter in the U.S. Whoop. Let's see. Let me try this. What does this look like? Nope. Okay. Over here, and then this is 2023. This is from 2013. Okay. So it's cockeyed. Let me turn this upside down. They really do a quarter 2013 2023. Let's look at this guy. Whoop. This is percentage change from the previous period. And here you go. Hold on one second. Let's go back up to here. This is kind of sideways, what have you. This is up here is 2013 at the top. Down here, that's welcome to 2020. 2020 quarter 2 takes a giant shit. Quarter 4 looks crazy by comparison. And then 2020 ended that one. Then it keeps going up. We have the 2021 lag, and then it jumps back up. Quarter 4, 2022. This is and then 2021 into 2022, like the beginning of this is the war. This is the beginning. Here's the beginning of the war, and then we get back to kind of normal, and then we're humping. We're doing good. So this is like regular percentage growth, and right in line, by the way, without the jagged parts of the economic problems hit by 2008, which was previous to that, and just kind of the ragged nature of the growth. This is the economic line that economists keep wanting to pretend didn't exist, never happened. Now, let me find one other thing and see if I can show you this. Also, 2020, here's 2022 numbers. This is the GDP in the world. By the way, the China number is bullshit. The China number is double what it actually is, for the record. It at best, double. If they're at 9 trillion, it'll be a fucking miracle. It's all garbage because they've been faking about 60 to 80% of their growth rate over the last 20 years. The yuan is at its lowest point since before Xi Jinping took power, since 2007, 2008. This is the U.S. GDP right here, 25 trillion, 464 billion, 48 million, right there. We'll go to this guy right there. Countries with the largest GDP, they go lowest estimated GDP, the largest gross domestic product per capita in 2022, global domestic product, GDP 2028. This is the global, this is like the expected, it's the global, here's the COVID slowdown, here's the global financial crisis, a little bit of jag in there, but for the most part, and this is all during a time, this is from at the top, 1985 down to 2027. This is projected past these, obviously, but this is the direction everybody thinks it's going to go just because of population and expenditure and all technology is deflationary, all that shit. So, I hear China has collapsed to 2003 numbers. Yeah, I'll show you that real quick. Just in case the maggots are watching just for spite because we're covering Trump. yuan at lowest. There we go. Let's see. Yeah. So if we're according to Trump, the dollar has crashed and we are submitting to China. That's the story, right? That's what he's telling us? Okay. China's yuan has fallen to the lowest rate since 2014 by one measure, and Beijing is okay with that for now, FX tried to just say. China's yuan is the lowest since 2022 by traditional metrics as economic growth has dissipated, but once measured of its real effect rate, puts the currency at the lowest rate since 2014. So valuation-wise, renminbi is starting to look cheap, which, by the way, is what they need to get people investing back in there. They need to crash their currency to make labor cheap again, but they just don't have the laborers, so it doesn't matter. Mexican labor is cheaper than Chinese labor, and companies already know that. So, but yeah, they're underwater. They're completely fucked. But Trump will tell us, fuck America. China's eating our lunch.
Everybody was happy. African Americans, Asian Americans.
Yes, especially in 2020, African Americans were very happy with the way things were and how Trump was running the country and his response to certain things.
Hispanic Americans, men, women, people with degrees from the Great Wharton School of Finance, from Harvard, from MIT, people with no degrees at all. Everybody had jobs. Everybody was happy.
Yeah, except they weren't, because literally unemployment is lower now.
Now you're giving phony numbers because far fewer people are looking for jobs.
Well, that's because their wages have gone up in spite of what the Fed is doing. And so you have more households being able to make subsistence on a single paycheck.
So they throw around, although it just went up, but they throw around 3.5, 3.6, 3.7%. But it's a different group of people. They're looking for jobs, but many of them aren't looking for jobs. So
what, were they just lazy? That's the lazy Americans?
It's a fake number. Crooked Joe cares only about enriching his own family. I care about enriching your family.
I mean, it's a cute sentence. It's clearly not true, or he wouldn't be asking for donations at all for his legal fund because he's a billionaire. Why did he just spend his own fucking money? Keep your money. I was able to pay for my campaign, also a lie, and I can pay for my own legal defense. I don't need it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to spend my own money on the second campaign. I don't need anybody's money. Nope. It is just a constant... Like he's in South Dakota for the third time because he's got his hat out. Then why were the free seats in the stands, but you had to pay to be on the floor? Why wouldn't you just want the people that like you the most and showed up early to be able to be on the floor? And why are there people being kept outside if...
And something that, again, this is like an evening of firsts.
Oh, wait.
But something which I proudly state, that I'm the only president that ever lost money while serving in office, and I knew that.
No, he didn't. I mean, on bad investments. That's not the same thing.
I didn't know it was going to be that much. That's a lot. I lost a number of billions. But...
Yeah, because people finally looked at your books and went, oh, those aren't billions. You lost all your fantasy billions because you were in the presidency, were actually looking at your financials. And this whole like, my brand's worth billions of dollars. And by the way, you could definitely track the idea that he believes his brand is worth billions. And if that's the case, then his presidency cost him billions in branding because it made his name ass.
I knew it was part of the game, and that's what I intended. I didn't intend. I could have made a fortune. Oh, I could have gone to these countries and made deals, you know.
But Jared beat me to it.
I put things in trust. I said, my kids are going to run it. I said, don't do deals outside of the country. Don't do this. They were going, Dad, can we do something? They said, no, you know, I'm president. We have a higher standard. And then I come out and I watch this Biden stuff with... They go to make deals with countries that it's just the craziest thing I've ever seen.
He literally, after he killed the Trans-Pacific Partnership via executive order, received $17 million in his Chinese bank account, of which he took personally took $15 million in cash out of it himself while he was president in 2017. But please continue.
And I got to give credit to Jim Jordan and Jamie Comer and all of
Yes, for wasting everyone's time.
these guys, because they found things that nobody thought could be found.
Yes, and they're going to show it to us any day now. We're all very, apparently, again, the new big story, I don't know if you've heard this, Hunter Biden's PR agent talked to the comms director in the VP office via official email chains in open view.
But it cost me billions of dollars, and it's been worth every single penny of it.
There were no pennies. These were all fantasy billions.
Because
I'm dead serious. The billions he allegedly lost, because he made money while he was in the presidency, are the billions he attributes to his brand.
I'm working for you. I'm not working for me. That I can tell you.
Well, then why did you charge above retail for the Secret Service that were protecting you at your properties while you were president? Why did it cost the U.S. taxpayer 400 years of presidential salary just to follow you around golfing?
I could have made so much. I could have.
No, you couldn't have. Don't beat yourself up. You're a shit businessman. If you had simply taken what your father left to you and put it in trust, it would be worth more than whatever the fuck you were doing with it over the years. You turned your dad's actual construction and real estate empire into a branding company that the Kardashians could swallow up.
Sir, would love to do a deal in Saudi Arabia. Sir, would love to do a deal here with
Well, wait till I'm out of office or talk to Jared.
there. Would love to do a deal. I really can't do that. I'm president. Biden would do it.
No, he wouldn't, or he would be, right?
So we just...
Okay, by the way, he's thinking about it right now, going, I shoulda.
we did it right. We did the right thing, and I do it exactly that way again. I will do it that way again. Look, we have a...
Great, we're going to redo the entire Trump presidency. He's going to hire Jeff Sessions and Rex Tillerson and Steve Mnuchin, and he's going to bring back Larry Kramer, and they're all going to fight for negative interest rates on the Fed so that he can accumulate debt for what he believes is free, so he can run up at the deficit all he wants and cut taxes, and then he can go after entitlements in a secret way, and blah, 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 blah.
A very short period of time.
Why? You had 4 fucking years you couldn't do it. Did he just burp? Watch his
exactly mouth. That way again. I will do it that way again. Look, we have a very short period of time. I'll do it that way.
Yep.
I even gave away my salary. Does anybody say that I gave away my salary? No.
Yeah, I just explained it, asshat. 400 fucking years worth of presidential salary to pay for his security and transportation just to go golfing on his own fucking properties. All that money went to his properties. They'd be in those properties would have been in fucking probate if not for the taxpayer.
They used to call every month, did you give it away this month to people? Yeah, and you have to give it to various agencies actually. Did you?
Is that how it works? Why didn't you post that on your website? Why didn't you just show where it went? Because you didn't.
Give it away. If I ever said no, it would have been, when I say yes we did. I never read anything about it. If we would have said no, we didn't, it would be headlines. But it was an honor. It was all an honor. If you want the Bidens to make millions selling out America to China, Russia, Ukraine, while your savings go up in flames, and that's what's happened, how are your 401ks doing, as an example?
Actually pretty rock solid. I mean, considering we've gone through an actual pandemic. Let's see. see. Let's see. I mean, the only stories I could find out about, let's see, 401ks, sees this picture, raising its head again, Roth IRA versus key differences. Literally the only, let's see. You need to roll over your yeah. All I see when you bring up 401ks is not articles about them crashing. It's literally articles on 401k day, which is when when you start contributing, or what part of the year you put your biggest chunk in after a certain fiscal part of the year, or what have you. The different kinds, just kind of advice more than anything else. 9 days ago. Here's how much 401k contribution limits are likely to rise next year. The tax-deferred amount you'll be able to contribute to your 401k in 2024 is likely to rise by $500, or 2.2%. Biggest 401k money rules to follow when you open your first account. Why you should contribute to the 401k plan. CEO spent his savings 401k and paychecks to keep his cookware brand afloat. Now it's bringing in blah, blah, blah. The pros and cons of taking out a 401k. Yes, it's just a nightmare. It's almost like, I don't know, it's like watching a horror movie. I don't know how else to describe it. Okay, go ahead.
Then vote for Crooked Joe. He's Crooked Joe. We used to call him Sleepy Joe, but I think Crooked Joe is a better name.
Why? Because he beat you he was campaigning from the basement. He beat you there, and he kicked your ass in all the debates.
Crooked Sleepy, Sleepy Crooked.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, just spitball it right now. It's not like anybody here is listening.
No, I think it's better. It's more appropriate. If you want better jobs, higher wages, an affordable American dream, then you must vote for your favorite president, Donald J. Trump.
Okay, and the people down in front, thank you very much. And send your money to me now, and I will use it to pay my legal bills.
Very seldom. I go to arenas, and we sell out these arenas, and they're great.
You don't sell out arenas. It's free. It's free. These are free events. The GOP ones, they give donors access to a section of the floor. You're not selling out shit. It's free.
But I wish the cameras would show it. I wish
they do show it, and they're showing that half the floor is fucking empty.
It would actually be good for their ratings. It's a positive, not a negative.
Well, anything is good for RAV and RSBN's ratings. They're in the toilet.
When I first started, we started in actually 2015, and it would go into an arena, it would be packed, and everybody was enthusiastic.
Unlike this.
By the way, never have we had the enthusiasm that we have now. Never.
That's right. That's right. Smaller crowds, but louder.
Never had this.
Now, never mind the fact that it doesn't matter how fucking loud you are or how many Trump flags you have on your truck. You still get one vote just like everybody else, dummy. Yeah, it's starting to thin out. Did these people just leave? And they call themselves patriots.
And we had record enthusiasm in 2016. In 2020, we had more. We did better in 2020 than we did in 2016. Got millions and millions more. But
so this barrier right here, again, the floor is right here. This barrier is just barely a little lower than a person just standing. And there is no one in this entire area. No one. Because those are, I guess, the pay-to-play floor donors.
We've never had the enthusiasm that we have now. But I used to say early on, I'd say, it's a shame. I'd go home, and our great First Lady would say to me, How are you,
It would say, I'm leaving.
darling? I said, could I ask you, did you watch the speech? Yes. And she's tough, you know. I'd say, how did I do? I didn't like your hair. Oh. I didn't like the way your hair looked. I said, oh, that's not good. But I said, how did the crowd look?
But that's, for the record, that's always true.
Well, you couldn't tell except for the noise. You know, the noise, it's obviously not 200 people shouting. Remember, Joey couldn't fill up the 8 circles, and then he supposedly won.
He actually won, and the 8 circles were for the press at specific events, and it was during a pandemic. So the point was not to gather people. That's one of the reasons why he won, is because he didn't need these fucking delicate bullshit ego fests to make him feel better about himself and call his idiot followers into an enclosed building when a contagious disease was wiping people out. That was it. And for the record, for maggots or anybody who's confused, just look around when you're out and about. Anybody not specifically wearing Trump gear is a Biden voter. Just count on it. Even if they've got, they formerly voted Republican, just count on it. Just know that when you see a crowd of people, you're at Walmart, you're walking around, if they're not wearing a MAGA hat, they're voting Biden. Just understand that.
The fake news would used to have to come. They'd come down and they'd fill in those 8 circles.
That was actually for reporters. The circles were for reporters.
Say, how'd you like the crowd? Well, they never show the crowd, but I could tell it was a very big crowd by the year. It's like your great football team.
Yes. What would be the name of their great football team? Is it in the teleprompter? It's like your great football team. What's the name of the fucking put the football team up in the teleprompter? Put it up in the teleprompter. Put it up in the teleprompter.
It's like, well, you can tell.
Yeah, you can tell it's like your great football team.
She could tell.
Oh, thanks, CSL. I'll fix that. Yay, our football team. That is also doing football when playing the footballs and games where football is happening. Yay, that football is a thing.
Good.
Good football people who do football things.
Now I'm going to get a good review tonight. That's good.
No, you're not. What the fuck is the name of the team, dummy? What football team?
But you know what? She could tell. It was big, but she said, no, they never show the crowd.
Yeah, just like at the football team, those games with the people. What's the name of those? What's the name of that team again? You're there. You're in South Dakota. You had to have been briefed. What's the name of the team again? Fucking hell.
And I figured that it's maybe the structure of the camera. It's on steel tripods, and maybe you just can't turn it. And then we had a couple of embarrassing moments where people ended up fighting in a corner or something, and that camera turned around like a pretzel. They want to show that. So that was.
First of all, the fights that he's talking about happened in front of the bandstand where they put all the cameras. And it's when a lot more coverage was actually happening. And it was the independent people who were filming it who then licensed their footage to other places. So they're going to pick that shit up. They're not getting word from CNN or any other place where somebody's talking in their fucking ear. And the whole point is to film what he says because he's the incendiary white knuckle, elephant in the fucking room.
Was my theory. He couldn't do it because structurally, it's very stiff. And
right. You're a dumbass. We get it.
You can't turn it. But boy, when those guys started fighting in the corner, which was a bad thing, when they started fighting in the corner, I've never seen a camera like that. They got every angle. So I realized that wasn't working, but they won't show. I would love it if the press would turn around the cameras and show this incredible.
And there you have it. They show this incredible empty floor where the people who allegedly paid to be part of the dinner or part of the South Dakota GOP donor class which is they fill in about here, and then it's all sparse, and then all the free seats are all around the edge, and there's a lot of empty ones of those too, like up here. That's empty. That's empty. A little bit empty over here. Some people have left. In all fairness, they might have been full when he started his speech.
They don't do
it. This floor right here, that barrier. Yeah, this is how high a human would be standing in front of it. All this floor is empty. All of it. Everything. And then that seat's empty, and that one, there's an empty seat, empty seat, empty seat. And now they're all standing, so you can't see the empty seats. It's a cute trick. Play. Stupid. And they stop at one point in this corner, and I don't know why they don't go all the way around. I mean, he asked them to. Maybe they will this time. Let's see. Gap, gap. I can't tell if that's stairs or a gap. Gap. Gap, gap, gap. You're not gonna show the other side, or? Yeah, it's about 3,000 people.
They don't do it. Did you see that? They don't do it. They won't.
They did. Hey, asshole. They literally did it. And again, these are not adversarial members of the press. These are people, you met these fucking people. You did an interview with them before or after this, whatever the fuck your plan is for the day, in the little tent with the dude from RSBN who's fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? There are no CNNs or Foxes or MSNBCs covering it. There aren't. Maybe the big question
is... Because they're told not to do it. Because...
No, they're not. And by the way, the big question is why don't maggots post more pictures of these crowds from all angles and not just the forward shot where everybody's shoved in the front?
They want to make it look... They don't want to show crowds like this because nobody has ever gotten crowds like this. Nobody's ever gotten it. It's not me, it's all of us. This is our movement. This isn't my movement. We're sick and tired of what's happened to our country.
Yeah, we're sick and tired of what's happened to our country, which, of course, he means his presidency.
But they won't do it, even though it's sort of good for them. You know, you show something that's so vibrant. Look at all the people standing over here. It's incredible. They just won't do it. I just said something. Would you please, I asked nicely, would you please turn around? You guys go crazy. Everybody up in the back there go.
Also, what do you have to do? Pick your ass? Why are you asking them to turn around?
Going crazy. Everyone's going crazy.
They did do it.
Those cameras, I didn't see one of them even make an effort to turn around.
Again, he's lying about RSBN and RAV and his own campaign cameras. The living shit are you talking about? Hey, dickhead, these people waved to the camera they saw turning towards them. What a dick.
That's why they call it fake news.
Yes, RSBN and RAV are fake news. Yeah, okay, cool.
That's why they call it fake news. You know, I'm proud of a lot of things. You don't mind if I go off the teleprompter for a second, do you?
He's going to say he came up with the phrase fake news.
Better than I thought. Now, we like when we go off the teleprompter, don't you, Craig? Remember at the beginning, I used to do it without teleprompters. I didn't know what to tell. I said teleprompter, but you have to, because when you go on the teleprompter too long, no matter how good you are, it's called the boring time. Boring.
He does have the best words. I take it back. It's called the boring time. Also, can I just say for the record, do we have any Any Norm Macdonald fans out there? I'm one. Hold on one second. Let me real quick. I show you something. Just in case Donald Trump tries to tell you again that he made up a phrase, and he's by no means the first person to say it. But
Weekend update with Noem Macdonald.
hold it. Hold.
Thank you.
Hold.
I'm Norm Macdonald, and now the fake news.
Okay. Just for the record, like the idea that he coined the fucking phrase has always aggravated me because that's literally how Norm led off the fucking show every time. I mean, like, no wonder Trump thinks Xi Jinping is I don't know, is so smart and on it and whatever the fuck he says straight from central casting, because he and Xi Jinping love stealing other people's shit. Play, stupid.
But we've had an incredible time with this country. We have such potential. And you know, we speak so negatively, and it's so horrible to be telling you what happened, but you know what happened. Just like all you have to do is watch the newscast, which, by the way, if you look at ABC, CBS, NBC.
Also, why would you watch the fake news to find out what's true?
At CNN, you look at MSDNC, which is, I think, the worst of all. I think they're horrible. What they say, they're evil. They're evil. They're really evil. And they're really a wing of
Sorry. Pussy grabber says what? Sorry, the guy that a judge said in the vernacular of the jury, they found that you're a rapist. Says what about a news organization that talks shit about you?
Democrat Party. I mean, they should be paying. Somebody should report that for campaign contributions, because it's so bad. What they say is so nasty.
Again, this is because he's lost Fox and he's jealous.
So horrible. You know, you don't want your family to watch it. How about me? I hear I'm going to be indicted. I said, indicted? I never learned about that at the Wharton School. Indicted?
Also, why not? You didn't learn about the legal limitations of the financial world, and they didn't run you through stories where people had started businesses and you didn't deal with it. There wasn't a class on the possibility of like big business corruption or how you have to watch out for legal landmines that you might not be aware of. Also, did you you never thought indicted came up in all those times when you were like, I could just grab a woman by the pussy. I never thought I'd be indicted of or something. Weird. Play.
You're going to be indicted. How about me? I have to go see my wife. Darling, may I
First
talk
of
to you
all,
for a moment?
First of all, there's no fucking way this dude says darling when he talks to Melania. Seriously. This character of a married couple that he does all the time. Darling, we can't watch TV because the wind isn't blowing. Darling, the darling stories are the female equivalent of the sir stories. They're all bullshit.
I'm going to be indicted for no reason whatsoever on Friday.
On Friday.
Happens. Oh, it's traumatic. You call your daughters, you call your sons, and you say this, and you know it's a terrible thing.
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
I hear a couple of weeks later, I'm going to be indicted for something else, then for something else, then for something else. And now they're saying, don't indict him anymore because they lost credibility. But how about that? You go.
No, they haven't.
4 times to tell your kids, and even the lawsuits, it's all inspired. All inspired.
It's all inspired? It's all inspired? Also, this is the most he's talked to his kids in forever, it seems. He's just pissed he has to call his kids.
But how about that? You go 4 times to tell your kids, and even the lawsuits, it's all inspired. All inspired.
It's all inspired? It's all a conspiracy? Is that where he's thinking? It's all inspired. It is. It's inspired. They're so infused with inspiritu where they come after me. Inspired. What the fuck? I honestly don't know.
No, these are sick people. These are people that are actually sick. I mean, and they're just destroying our country. And if we don't take it back, in 24, I really believe we're not going to have a.
We are going to be a country no more. I actually think it will not. It will be a country no more.
Same shit. Over and
Country
over
left.
again.
There's not going to be anything left. And you see it less because, you're here in this great state. And I heard Kristi use that term flyover, but it's flyover and everybody admires you when they're looking down. They'd like to be here with you because they know what's happening on the West Coast and they know what's happening.
Yeah, if only you had a fucking airport, I guess.
Here
What
I
the
am
fuck?
like an idiot.
What?
On the East Coast, and it's not pretty. So the people that are smart, they
Wait a
say
minute.
there's no more.
Hold on. What's not pretty? They're flying to the East Coast? Really? It's so.
What's happening on the West Coast, and they know what's happening on the East Coast, and it's not pretty. So the people that are smart, they say there's no more flyover. We're coming right here to South Dakota or other places. I mean, you don't see what's going on other than the news, and the news really covers it up. They don't show the main.
All the New Yorkers and Californians and tech bros that are buying land in South Dakota and Wyoming and North Dakota that will eventually change the voting patterns of the place that's freaking everybody out. Tell me more.
Networks, they don't show what's going on the border. It's peanuts. What they show is nothing compared to the facts. This is an invasion and a destruction of our country, and they don't want to show it because they want that crooked guy to be reelected if he makes it to the starting gate. I don't know if he's going. And I used to treat him with a modicum of respect because I have respect for the office of the presidency, and I would never talk the way I talk now. But when they indicted me for...
The fuck are you talking about? You led chants of lock her up at your own fucking rallies about the former Secretary of State and the New York Senator. Oh, God.
For nothing.
By the way,
for
he didn't talk
free
like
speech.
this. He didn't talk. Shut the fuck up. He
The
didn't talk this.
election was rigged and stolen, which it was.
He didn't
and
talk
everybody-
this way. He didn't talk this way about Biden because Biden's a white guy. And for some reason, it's difficult for him to go after another man, especially one who might actually know what the fuck he's doing. That makes him nervous. That's why he does that whole, nobody knows better than you to the people he's talking to, because he's got to kiss the ass of the ego across from him because he has no idea what he's talking about. And he's worried he's got to have that person agree with what he's saying or check the agreement, or he feels like afloat in a sea of bullshit.
Knows that. Everybody knows it. Free speech.
No, you can't call the governor and fuck around like this. It doesn't work that way. Not at all.
But I used to say, and we're political opponents, but he actually did this to an opponent, a political opponent. Nobody would ever think it's possible. It wasn't really possible even.
Hold on. Nobody could think it was possible? If literally you said in the debate with Hillary Clinton, because you'd be in jail. And she's like, I'm so glad this man is in charge of our justice system, because he goes, yeah, because you'd be in jail. He literally fucking said it. What do you mean nobody imagined it? It's all your people imagined. The problem was you failed to do it because there was no there.
Psychologically possible. He did this to an opponent. But when you think about it, I never said bad stuff. Now I say he's the worst president in the history of our country. He's the most.
Oh, it's terrible. I don't know how he'll ever recover after the death of his wife and daughter and the death of his son and his dealing with his other son's addiction and legal problems and stuff. I don't know. The last straw. I don't even know he's got the fucking fortitude to be called crooked by you. A guy who was actually fined by the state of New York $2 million for lying about charity that he wasn't giving.
Corrupt president in the history of our country.
Nobody cares.
And as other foreign leaders say, and as I say, he is grossly incompetent, and he's very dangerous because he has no idea what he's doing. He can't put two sentences together, and we're playing with nuclear weapons with other countries, and he has no clue what the hell is going on. So I would never have said that.
This would be a projection. Also, this is all shit he said.
Out of respect for the office, not for him, but for the office. But now that they've weaponized the Department of Justice, now that it's been weaponized, now that the FBI came out with, you saw that, with Twitter, they call it Twitter files, and the things they've done are so bad, they're so evil.
They're so bad, they're so evil. They made suggestions, and in some cases, I don't know if you heard this, sometimes Twitter said yes, and sometimes Twitter said no. It's terrible, it's evil. Just like listen to a Boca housewife.
With all of the different things that have taken place and with all of the corruption that you're witnessing on a nightly basis, and you don't have to watch. A great thing about the internet.
Well, you're not always there giving a speech. I'm just saying for the record.
A lot of it's really bad, but you get to see what's happening. You really do get to see what's happening. But when you see the kind of things, I feel I'm totally free to speak my mind. And my mind is the same as your mind, because you know.
Yes, completely devoid of any realistic conceptions about life as we know it.
What's happening, just like I did.
Bullshit! I would like to say for the record that I do enjoy the fact that every sentence he's back to like grinding his teeth and being upset, because he knows that no matter what he says to this crowd, no matter how hard they applaud, again, each one of them can only vote once. Most of them aren't from South Dakota. It's not going to have any fucking impact. He could win South Dakota 100% and it wouldn't change the Electoral College one fucking bit. He's not gaining a vote in this situation at all. He knows it. Everybody knows it. And he's just there to bitch. It's weird.
But we will, because they won't, because they don't care about South Dakota, that I can tell you. But we will stand up for South Dakota workers, and we will stand up for South Dakota farmers. Nobody's ever taken care of the farmers.
No, this is like, I paid off the farmers with the Chinese bribe money.
Farmers like President Trump. As your president, I took on communist China like no administration in history, bringing
nonsense. He signed one phase of a three-phase deal, and they only lived up to a third of it. And the money that he gave to the farmers was basically a currency devaluation payoff the Chinese gave to him so that he could lock up his voters while pretending to get engaged in this bullshit. And his daughter got a bunch of fucking patents at the same time he was kissing their ass. Nonsense.
Hundreds of billions of dollars, as you know, pouring into our treasury. Hundreds of billions. They didn't like me too much. Actually, I think I got along very well with them, considering what we were doing. But what we were doing.
What do you mean, engaging in a bribery scheme so that they could funnel money to your voters? They could keep you in there so you could undermine the strategic position of the United States vis-a-vis Taiwan and the South China Sea and our relationship with Japan and Australia and India and all those other countries that you were basically stiff arming during this whole process. That, you mean that? Ugh.
It was fair when no other president had ever gotten literally 10 cents. They never have 10 cents. We got hundreds of.
Again, you didn't get 10 cents from them. We've had multiple tariffs. If you don't get the money, tariffs are tariffs. The Obama-Biden administration put a tariff on Chinese steel. They put a sanction on dumping of washing machines and all that shit. Like, oh, thank you so much, Emily. It's been a minute. I appreciate that. So, thank you, by the way. Appreciate the support. She sent a Venmo. Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Billions. I gave our farmers, out of the money that we got, $28 billion. That's why I say your state, Iowa. I'm going to Iowa tomorrow. I said,
Jesus Christ. He only goes to like kiss-ass states. This is so. Go to a state where you didn't win, you fucking weenie. Secondly, to. Nobody gave more to the but then the then the blah. Nobody gave more money to the blah than the blah, and I took care of the farmers because I blah'd the fucking blah. Trump administration farmers bailout money went to corrupt Brazilian brothers who bribed officials. This is from 2019. You know, when things were going really well. JBS chairman Josely Batista disembarks from a Brazilian federal police airplane at Brasilia's International Airport September 11, 2017. The Trump administration granted around $62 million in financial assistance to a meatpacking company owned by a Brazilian brothers guilty of bribing hundreds of officials in Brazil, according to a new report. The Department of Agriculture aid went to bail out JBS USA, a Colorado-based subsidiary of a Brazilian meatpacking company owned by Josely and Wesley Batista. The money came from the $12 billion, not 28, not 48. $12 billion program that the Trump administration created to help U.S. farmers struggling as Trump's trade war with China escalates. The two brothers were arrested for the first time in 2017 and accused of insider trading. Brazilian police arrested Josely Batista again in 2018 as part of an ongoing investigation into illegal campaign contributions. Weird that guy got millions of dollars. That's almost like money laundering. Who would have fucking guessed that the Batista brothers who Brazil, American farmers, right in South Dakota. Both brothers have confessed to bribing high-level officials in Brazil's Ministry of Agriculture. The bribery scheme reached as high as the former president, Michel Temer. Last year, Brazil voted in a new president, Jair Bolsonaro, a far-right figure who ran largely on an anti-corruption message. JBUSA Holdings Incorporated produces and exports animal protein products in the United States and Australia. It offers fresh and frozen chicken, pork, beef, products. The company also offers processing services. According to a company description by Bloomberg, the company's products are also sold to food service, SIC, meaning that should be two words, not one, retail and frozen entree customers. It offers its products through retailers, food service distributors, and restaurants in the United States. We'll go even further. Similar to JBS Holdings, Smithfield Foods, a Chinese-owned pork producer based in Virginia, also qualified to receive bailout funds from the Trump administration. I gave more money to the farmers than any farmer farming at blah in the history of blah. Let me read that to you again. Similar to JBS Holdings, a Brazilian company with a subsidiary office in the United States where the money was funneled through, Smithfield Food, a Chinese-owned pork producer based in Virginia, also qualified to receive bailout funds from the Trump administration. Smithfield, really, it's funny, a Chinese company. Don't say it with Chinese funds is basically looped back. Why don't you just say, keep it, give that to the Smithfield people. Smithfield is owned by WH Group, a company that may have received Chinese government assistance in order to acquire Smithfield Food. American farmers are bearing the brunt of Trump's years-long trade war with China, which appeared to have escalated recently. Last week, Trump announced that he would raise a 10% tariff on Chinese pork and soybean exports. Last year, U.S. pork producers lost an estimated $2.2 billion due to the trade war. Industry insiders have called on the administration to end the trade war to boost American jobs. That's right there. Something about something, right? Something. Nobody remembers that. I gotta fucking keep bringing it up. Okay, go ahead, asshat. Tell us all about the fucking blah, blah, blah.
Somebody, and I don't like to say it too often because I don't believe in doing that, or I knock on wood. I have a lot of wood. This is a real wood. A lot of these things are plastic. This is the real deal.
Who gives a shit?
But I don't like saying things like nobody else could do this, nobody else. But nobody else could have gotten you 28 billion for your farmers. And I said to the people of Iowa, I said
And by the way, by your farmers, he means the farmers of Brazil and the corporations of China.
Of Nebraska, we're represented very well, Charles. I said, we can't possibly lose, because I got the farmers $28 billion from China. Nobody else would even think about it.
By the way, this increasingly informs my belief that this was all part of a kickback scheme from the Chinese based on this deal that they would make eventually, that they would, they would set up this tariff thing and then siphon the money off to pay the farmers as a gimmick. Yeah, and the idea that they...
Nobody else would think about it. And I'll just...
Well, because everybody else would recognize it was a payoff, and they would recognize that the tariff fight that you were fighting was the wrong fight with the wrong goods.
Tell you, a guy who was very disloyal because I got him elected, so I call him Ron DeSanctimonious. He strongly opposed my protection for our farmers. I protected our farmers very simply. And by the way, those farmers got big checks. Any farmers in here got big checks? Yes? Yes. Oh, he's happy.
One guy. Yeah, I got a big check. Pummel.
But that goes to the people, that goes to the workers, it goes to everybody. But we 28 billion. I said,
also, for the record,
be
I guarantee that the guy who went, yeah, I did over here, is the talk of the town that he's in, that he's the dude who buys up fucking land and puts people off their farms and buys other people's mortgages and sells off their house without telling them, and that kind of a dickhead.
able to do that. I said, there's no way I'm going to lose farm states. But very simply, DeSantis sided
Farm states.
with the communists in China, and he fought very hard that this not take place. He also opposed Medicare, and he opposed a thing called Social Security. Remember this about a politician. Their first idea is always what they go back to. So now I'm sure he's changed.
You mean the whole thing about a woman should be punished if she gets an abortion? When you told that to Chris Matthews? That people should have listened to what the fuck you were saying and believed you at that time? I agree.
I don't know. I don't watch him. He's gone so low in the polls, I'm not really watching him. They say, sir, forget about him. He's gone. I say, no, nobody's gone. Nobody's gone until it's over, right? It ain't over till it's over. Yogi, the great Yogi Berra, great philosopher. But DeSanctimonious voted to get Social Security. Think of it. Social Security 3 times. Voted. Hands up, voted. He is a disciple of Paul Ryan, the great Paul Ryan. You know who Paul Ryan is? Was it good? And he wanted to raise, and he will raise if he ever got in here, which I don't think is going to happen, not even in 4 years. But he wanted to raise the minimum age to 70. That's a big deal. He also wanted to hit Medicare and hit it
Hey, fuckhead. I got news for you. The vast majority of the Republicans in the South Dakota GOP party, if not certainly the crowd around, but the people who actually run the fucking thing, are committed to raising the Social Security age to 70. I got news for you. That's one of their fixes. That's one of the fixes that they're tabling in the Republican House right now. It's not going anywhere, thank God, but that's what they're doing. Oi.
Very hard. I ended the NAFTA disaster, the worst trade deal ever made in the history of our country, and replaced it with the...
By the way, he modified NAFTA and renamed it. That's it. Everybody had been talking about a fix. The fixes were already written before he even came into office. He just wanted to be able to slap his name on something. That's why, it's almost the same reason he wanted to build a wall. That's why he put his nameplate on a section of wall that was actually built by the Obama administration.
Brand new U.S.
Also, by the way, it's getting very hot in my studio, and I think we've got the generalized gist of this, and I have radio tomorrow, so I'll wrap it up in a couple of minutes. What the hell?
MCA, that's Mexico, Canada. They say it's the best trade deal ever made in the history of our country. I actually think, I may be wrong.
Who says that? people trying to, like, who've had their lips super glued to your butthole? Nobody says
I made a deal
that.
with China, but I don't talk about it because once COVID came in, I said, I'm not even talking about it. But the deal I made with China is $50 billion they buy a year. You know, it started out.
No, they don't. No, they do not. First of all, China imports 80 to 85% of their food and energy. 80 to 85, a country that fucking large, they need all the food they can get. It's not even an option that they buy that amount of food from wherever the fuck they can get it. The only way you sell an exorbitant amount of food to China that they wouldn't otherwise already buy is if you agree to sell it on the cheap by giving them a bulk deal. Fuck off. They have not lived up to the deal you signed. They only lived up in the first year to a third of it. And it's since then it doesn't even exist. Nobody operates that way. They buy whatever the fuck they can from wherever they can buy it from because they got a large country with no farmland. Oy.
At 4 or 3, and then we got them up to 15. And then I went into the negotiating room and I said, listen, you're so big, we want 50 billion. And they said, okay, 50 billion. And I said, do you remember the farmers remember this? I said, here's what you do, because the farmers went along with me. You know, it took us a year and a half to get that done because they're not easy to deal with. They're great negotiators. They were ripping off our country. They couldn't believe this was happening because usually you see the way they go now and they bow to the Chinese. They bow. They have no respect. They get no respect whatsoever.
Also, when is the fucking bowing? Oi.
But I said, it's going to take a little long to do this. And I'll never forget, 32 farmers came to see me at the White House. Beautiful everything, beautiful room, all set up. Beautiful and I said, I'm going to get you a lot of subsidy from China. And one of the farmers raised his hand. I'll never forget. This is the only time this happened. Sir, we don't want subsidy. We just want a fair, level playing field. I couldn't believe it. It's the first time that's ever happened.
No, it hasn't. You just didn't give a fuck. You thought you were there to buy them off, and they weren't saying we want a fair that you're somehow going to get there. What they were essentially saying was we just want to sell our shit. You're fucking with everything. Of course we have a trade deficit with China. We buy stuff and repurpose it and make a profit off of it. They buy food from the United States and this shit dies in the field if we don't sell it to somebody. We overproduce. We don't have that many fucking people in this country. Especially buying soybeans. You fucking nuts? Let us sell our shit. And I'm not going to wait around for checks that are never coming. Half of which are going to fucking Brazil and to China already. Oi. All right. Okay, so I got to get some rest because I got radio in the morning and then I got a long drive ahead of me because my dear friend Richard Hunter invited me to go see Metallica tomorrow night in Phoenix. So we're driving down to do it and I'm very, very excited and I would like to be awake for the show. And he's not going to say anything new. This is the same shit we've seen. And he's saying it for increasingly small crowds. And the lies he's telling get kind of deeper and more convoluted, but they don't amount to a hill of beans. And at no point does he even have the guts to mention the kidney. You know? Like he doesn't even, I don't even know how he even thinks about it. And by the way, I want to thank the trolls for showing up tonight. It shows, taste and breeding that you came over here to have your ass handed to you by the best in the business. That's right. I do it comfortably and with a smile on my face. And I know it irritates you. And I know you're very confused right now. The world looks very odd to you. The economy didn't crash. The cities aren't on fire all the time. even the rise in crime that's subsiding now, or Title 42 being shut off, and suddenly the number of crossings cut in half. It just throws a monkey wrench into everything you thought you think. I just want you to know that all of us are looking at you, and we're not laughing. We aren't laughing at you. We're tittering. I will say that I need to look up some. Let's see. Hold on. I know it's in here. Let's see. I know it's in here somewhere. That's in there. Gotta go back one. I need to find one thing before I go, because it's gonna drive me crazy. I'll put one thing and maybe in here. No, that's not it. Let's see. It'll be in downloads, I bet. Hold on. Oink. Besides our our wonderful comms issue of this. Let's see. I'm looking for something. Give me a moment. Just want to put something up there. Where is it? I don't know where I put like the kidney thing that we had that explains the audio in it. I know you sent it to me, CSL. I'll have it. I'll show you guys tomorrow. I'm going to play this kidney clip tomorrow, so people who don't know that reference will get it renewed. Much like the people who have just discovered the glory that is Motang. Even some of Trump's followers don't.
Michigan gave us Motang, gave us Motown, gave us the Mustang.
Right. Aren't even aware of some of the dipshittery that he has said over the years, because he's got the best words. So best words. They're
not allowed to be offensive, unfortunately.
All right. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. My God, it's hot in here.